Can you hit the 145390 Gallatin repeater? The 145390 Gallatin repeater.
Did not copy. The repeater's still kind of taking tension on me. I'm still pretty good ways out, so 10 or 15 more minutes I should be well within range here. Over.
Roger, Roger. Ron, I was just asking if you could hit the Gallatin repeater, 145390, 145390, with a PL of 114.8, 114.8 PL. Roger, Roger.
145390 with a 114.8. I'll give it a try. Thank you, KF4GNV.
I'll repeat again. This repeater is pretty noisy, but I'll repeat again. The frequency is Gallatin 145390 with a PL of, hang on just a minute, 114.8. 114.8. Roger. KC9VKV.
Oh, Ronnie, oh, Jim. Where'd y'all say this repeater is? I had it in my memory, but I don't know where it is. Yeah, I'm still a couple miles out of Bowling Green down there.
Roger, Roger. I think this repeater's in Gallatin, Tennessee. I'm pretty sure this is part of the Shout South group in Gallatin, Tennessee. Roger. You still copying, Ron?
Roger, on the Gallatin. Well, I'm pretty good ways from it too then, but it's got good coverage.
Roger, Roger. Exceptional coverage, exceptional coverage. And if you were coming from Birmingham, Alabama, we'd be talking to you down in Birmingham. The Shout 6 goes all the way to Birmingham. But anyway, whereabouts are you now? Whereabouts are you now?
I didn't know if y'all could hear me or not. I was barely picking up the repeater. There's a few spots back there by the state line I can hear pretty good, but it doesn't last long. I drop off a little hill and then it's gone.
Roger, Roger. What's your location now, Ron? What's your location now?
I am on the south end of Bowling Green, about the 20-mile marker.
Roger, Roger. I'm not doing anything in Bowling Green. Doing pretty well in Gallatin, Tennessee, but not much in Bowling Green. So maybe we can carry this one on through and hopefully be able to work the Bonnieville. Bonnieville has been a little erratic tonight, but maybe we can do that. Roger, Roger.
Oh, yes, sir. I should be able to get in pretty solid once we get on the north side of Bowling Green here, so won't be too much longer. I ought to be able to carry it for a while.
That's a Roger. That's a Roger. This signal from this repeater in Gallatin has been up to 6 lights, and it's worked its way down now to about 2 lights. Roger, Roger. This one kind of comes and goes also. Tonight is not the necessarily the best night, Roger. And I got nothing coming back now from Gallatin, Tennessee. Yeah, I got nothing coming back from Gallatin, Tennessee now, but we've got our fingers crossed she's going to open up. Sounds like she's trying. Sounds like it definitely is trying. This is KC9VKV, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Ron, you got a copy? I heard you in there a couple of times. I'm not copying this repeater very well right now. It's gone to no lights. This repeater's gone to no lights for the moment. Let me try another repeater in the Shot 6 chain. I'm going to try another repeater in the Shot 6 chain. This is 146.880. Ron, you got a copy on 146.880? You could copy. You don't have to come to this frequency. Just use the frequency, that other frequency. This and that one are tied together. So you just stay where you were there as far as that 145.390. You can answer on that one if you got a copy on this one. This is KC9VKV. Ron, do you have a copy?
Yeah, go ahead, Tim. Whoever else that is out there is not quite making the machine.
Roger, roger. I'm going to go to the 145.880, and you can just stay on this one, and I think I can copy you. Stand by just a moment. I'll call you on the other one. But reply on this one. This is KC9VKV. Ron, you got a copy? KC9VKV on 146.880, Shot 6. KC9VKB back on the 145.390. Could you hear me calling for you?
No, sir, didn't hear you till you said you were back on here.
Roger, roger. That's I don't understand that because when I key, and let me just check something real quick here. Hang on. This is KC9VKV. 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 I guess it's not tied together. I'll get back on the 390. KC9VKV. I guess they're not tied together. They were. I thought.
Yeah, link made to be down or something, but no, you weren't coming through at all on the other one.
Roger, roger. I've got 5 lights on this one. I've got 5 lights on this one, and like I say, this one is in Gallatin, Tennessee, I think. Roger.
Ah, very good. Yeah, I go through Gallatin every morning. About on my way back home, I jump off and go down the back roads to miss going through the traffic.
Roger, roger. How far are you from Bonnieville?
About 40 or 50 miles out, so I should, once I get up here the next 4 or 5 miles, I should be able to hit it pretty solid the rest of the way.
Oh, roger that. I've got you pretty good. Maybe we'll just hang on this one for a little while there. You're getting a little picket fencing, but you're solid in. You haven't dropped out. Roger, roger.
Yes, sir. You got dropped down a little hole right there, so I'm able to get. I'll have to check and see. Let's get one up and see where it's located. But it may be on Music Mountain. I'm not sure.
Roger, Roger. It looks like we might have a 280-mile QSO tonight. Looks like 280 miles, Roger.
Yeah, that was fun Friday night. I enjoyed that, and enjoyed talking with everybody along the way, and made the night go by a whole lot faster for me, for sure.
Roger, Roger. Now this this trip for me to this repeater is 163 miles. It's 163 miles from me to this repeater, and then as we contemplate on up to Indianapolis, that's another 112 miles. So that'll be 270 miles. Is that right?
Yeah, 275, I believe. 163 and 112 ought to be about 275.
Roger, Roger. What's your average speed?
I probably average 63 or 64 mile an hour. Somewhere along in there. The truck, maximum speed on the truck is 67, so give or take a little bit, but not too heavy tonight, so I should be able to average about 63.
Roger that. Well, I would try to figure that out if I had half a brain. I'd have to have at least a couple of more cups of coffee to figure that out.
I'm about 3 hours and 15 minutes out, probably. So I'm where I'm at now is an hour and a half from when I started, and it takes me roughly 4 hours and 45 minutes, give or take, to get up there. So should be about 3 hours and 15 minutes out.
Roger, Roger. Now, yeah, that I wanted to check something on that. Let me. I gotta try to find my my cheat sheet here. Where do you get onto I-65? What part of the area do you get onto I-65?
KF4GNV. I get on I-65 in Nashville. I come out of Smyrna, Tennessee, down there off I-24, and then get off I-65 up there at Greenwood, Indiana.
Yeah, roger that. Roger that. Yeah, New Albany to Indianapolis is 115 miles, and Gallatin to New Albany is 190, so it's 190 plus 115. So that's 5, 10, 0. That's 305 miles, 305 mile QSO.
This is the W4LKZ repeater.
KF4WZR. There you are, Ronnie. You did pretty solid that time. KF4GNV. I forgot I had on low fire. I was trying to get into it for 5-1. This repeater is actually Beth Page, Button Hollow. It's right down there around Gallatin anyway.
Yeah, Ronnie, did you say it was around Gallatin? Hit your audio. Talk. Pull that mic right up on your lips.
It's located at Beth Page, which is Button Hollow.
How far is that from Gallatin?
Just north of Gallatin. I know exactly where Button Hollow is.
Roger, Roger. So if we said Gallatin, that would be in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah, pretty close. It's probably, Ronnie, maybe 10 miles out of Gallatin. It's north. It's kind of north of Gallatin and a little northeast of Gallatin. Probably east of Portland.
Roger, roger.
Pull your 4BGY.
Go ahead, station.
Is this the repeater that's linked into the 880?
I think it's supposed to be, but I was trying it earlier and I couldn't get it to link.
Huh. Well, it used to be linked to the 880 because the machine up here in Bowling Green is linked to the 880, the Shout South Net.
Yeah, roger, roger. But I conducted a little test and I was hitting the 880 and it wasn't coming up on this one. So the link between the two, for some reason, is not working tonight.
Okay. Well, I'm talking on the 145 390.
Roger, that's the one I'm talking on, except we're up in Indiana, Roger.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm in a little place called Auburn, Kentucky. Name here is Bill Moline. The call sign is Whiskey 4 Bravo Golf Yankee.
Roger, Bill. Yeah, we're setting a land speed record tonight. Kind of. We're doing a 305-mile QSO from Nashville to Indianapolis with Ron out in an 18-wheeler, Roger.
Navigation's pretty good. There's a band opening all the way through Kentucky, so that's pretty good. It's pretty good. A friend of mine just checked the propagation and said it was pretty good.
Roger, roger. Well, we did it either last night or the night before, but we forgot to roll tape. So tonight we're rolling tape on it, Roger.
Okay, fine business there. Well, I don't want to tie up everything, so I'm going to let you guys get around. There's probably a lot of them in there who want to talk, so good to talk up there to Indianapolis. I had an aunt that lived there for many years, and she passed away some years ago, and I had to make the trip to bury her. But she was born in Scottsville, and then she migrated to Indianapolis, and that's where she lived her life.
Roger, roger. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully she had a real full life, and that's all that we can expect to have,
Yeah, she had a very full life. Most of my family does it about anywhere from 65 to 80. It's about where it is. My dad passed away, and he was 80 years old. So my mom was 79. So that's about the ticket punch that I'm looking for.
Roger, roger. Well, you never can tell. You might be the exception that gets out there at 150, right?
I don't believe that will happen, but you never know. All right, let me jump out here. I heard Ronnie in there. KF4WZR, I heard him in there. Hello, Ronnie, and whoever else is in there, y'all have a great night. Let me jump out here on the side. Whiskey 4, Bravo Golf Yankee. Here in a little old place called Auburn, Kentucky, about 6 miles out of Russellville.
Roger, roger. Well, this, like I say, we are recording this, and we will have it posted on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, it'll bring up 50 some odd QSO vlogs, and this should be one of it. Might not make it for tomorrow, but shortly thereafter we'll have it posted. So again, the call sign is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor on a YouTube search. Roger?
Deal. Good deal. I ain't heard myself on YouTube in a long time. I've got a video where I'm talking about 2 HTs, so, but that's, I don't even know what that's under. I don't know if that's under my friend's call sign or what, but I'll have to look that up and see if I can't get it to you before this propagation dies out. Anyway, 7-3 up there, and anybody else around the frequency. Whiskey 4 Bravo Golf Yankee.
Roger, Roger, 3 is good talking at you. Have a good night. This is KC9VKV. Ron, would you still have a copy?
Sir, solid copy. Got the repeater full scale up here at just north of Smith Grove. And hello, Ben. He's sounding good from Auburn over there this evening. It's been a while since I've been through there, but it's pretty country up there for sure. KF4GNV mobile.
Roger, Roger. That mobile's smoking there. I don't know what kind of problem you have on the trailing edge, but it's doing fine tonight, Roger. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and we're currently working the 145-390 repeater in Gallatin, Tennessee. It's 163 miles from my location. And we're going to do a QSO all the way to Indianapolis with any luck, and that'll be a 305-mile QSO, continuous QSO through repeaters from here, there, and yonder down I-65.
I think I need to jump on over to the Bonneville repeater, Jim. Dropping off this hill, and I'm probably going to be shouted to the repeater here, so we'll QSY to the Bonneville. KF4GNV mobile.
Roger, Ron. Copy you. We'll try the Bonneville and see how it does. This is KC9VKV QSY to Bonnieville, 146,895. Thanks for the repeater, you guys. This is KC9VKV. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor on the Bonnieville repeater.
Here, no Ronnie can hit this one good solid. That is when his dog doesn't have him taking him out in the yard. So you make it back to this one, Ronnie?
This is KC9VKV. Ron, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. Does not make the repeater.
You're just a little choppy, just a little choppy. You want to go back to the other repeater, or stay on this one? I'm pretty noisy on this one.
Stay right here. I'll be getting closer to this one all the time, so should be all right. So pick it up a little bit and send you the link. Find out what all he's been into this weekend.
Pretty noisy on this one. Pretty noisy on this one. I only have about one light. Let's try back on the Gallatin repeater for just a minute or so, and then come back to this one if you got a copy.
Well, I'll drop it down these hills and stuff up here, and I'll be shouted from the one back there at Gallatin. So I'm just gonna stay on this one because I'm headed toward it. It should be hitting stronger all the time.
Roger, Roger. Yeah, but it's not coming. I've only got 2 lights on it now. I had about 5. We'll just see where it goes. This is KC9VKV through the Bonnieville repeater, 146,895. Ron, how far do you think you're out of Bonnieville now? Roger. 27 miles on the south side of Bonneville, Roger.
That is correct.
Roger, Roger. Well, hopefully this repeater will come on up. It's been in and out all night long. Hasn't been real hot like it was the other night, but we keep our fingers crossed. That Gallatin repeater worked really well tonight.
Yes, sir. It was doing a fine job. I had that frequency in the memory bank, so I've used it sometime in the past, but not one that I've owned that often. Of course, you know how it is. You get used to your repeaters you use, and you can hit your home repeater. That's usually where I go to when I'm running in and out. So, but anyway, well, look, I don't want to hog up the repeater. I don't get Ronnie back in here, so and whoever else is out there listening, there may be some other stations wanting to use the machine as well. So, but anyway, Ronnie, did you make it back over here? KF4GNV.
Yeah, he was making the trip. When he finally come up on his power, he was making the trip real well to the Gallatin repeater. KF4WZR, KF4WZR, KC9VKV. I think he was making the trip to the Gallatin repeater with about 10 watts. Of course, he sounded a lot better when he came up to 50 watts, I guess it was.
Yeah, his dog may have him outside, so he'll probably be back in here shortly.
Roger, Roger. I've got 4 lights on this repeater now. Anybody else on the frequency want to jump in there?
This is W4RRK. I haven't heard Ronnie come back yet. He's KF4WZR.
Roger, Roger.
And yours truly is back, but I don't know for how long.
Hello, Lynn.
Hello there. Hello, Ron, out there running around the mobile.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, all I do is ride around in the dark, it seems. But luckily, I got some good folks like y'all to keep me company.
Yeah, I've been listening to y'all here for off and on. And I will tell you this, guys, and this is for all of you. If I just suddenly go away, I'm not gone away. I just had to run real quick, guys. My problems still aggravating me after 8, and sometimes I have to run rather quickly. And sometimes I don't have time left to think, hey, I'll be back. So now, but then, oh,
Well, hopefully you can always make it to where you need to go within the time limits that you have to do it, Roger.
Yeah, well, I only have about, I don't know, 10, 12, maybe 15 steps at the most. And well, for me, that takes a little bit with this bad ankle, but right now. So, yeah, maybe we'll get there and won't have to worry about and everything will be good. I certainly hope so. But anyway, I can be sitting here listening to you or y'all, and like I said, if I just suddenly run away, it ain't y'all. It's cause just have to take care of things. Anyhow, go ahead, all you fellas, and let me listen. KC4GNV.
KC9VKV, Ron, how close are you now?
About 17 miles out, I guess. Something like that, 18, somewhere along in there. KF4GNV.
Roger, Roger. Wish this repeater were working just a little bit better tonight, just a little noisy. It's running right at, for me, about 2 lights up here in Indiana. You got no lights now, got no lights at all on this repeater at the moment. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, KC9VKV, working through the Bonnieville repeater on 146.895. Just out of curiosity, I want to go back and check the repeater down in the Gallatin at 145.390, just curious if it's still holding up. This is KC9VKV. Just checking the performance of the 145.390, getting 2 lights back. Yeah, I'll try it with the right antenna. I'll try this repeater with the right antenna. And I'm getting 5 lights back. 5 lights back up in Indiana on the 145.390. This is KC9VKV, be clear. And this is KC9VKV. I was getting 5 lights back from that Gallatin repeater 145.390.
Yeah, you must have a good path down there to that one. It must be lined up pretty good with you, but just, I know where my antenna is located on the truck, and it was already starting to clip out with me, so it's one of those deals, when I'm going toward it, I'm sure I could hear it a lot further out. I may have to mess around with that a little bit in the morning on the way back down, see how far north I can hit it.
Roger, Roger. Getting just a little bit of fading oscillation, like maybe an airplane flew through between New Albany and Bonnieville. Just airplanes do that when they fly through a field. They set up an oscillation, and sometimes it takes a little while for conditions to stabilize after they do fly through. So this is KC9VKV in QSO with KF4GNV in an 18-wheeler out on I-65 coming up from Nashville. We've been in QSO from Gallatin now through the Bonneville repeater, and conditions are pretty good on the were pretty good on the Gallatin repeater, the 145-390, and still good. But the Bonneville repeater is kind of in and out. About 3 lights is about the best we can get on that one tonight. Anybody else on the frequency wants to jump in there, go ahead. So do you have a pretty good copy there, Ron?
Oh yeah, solid copy. Solid copy. I've got the repeater full scale. So you seem to be into it pretty good now, so I guess the conditions came back up a little bit for you. It's amazing how the band can go up and down on something, and you hear something solid for the longest time, and then all of a sudden it just fades away, doesn't it?
Roger that. Roger that. Just about the time you you get secure with it, all of a sudden you're down to half a light and scrambling.
Now, are you on the stacked 7-element beam tonight, like you were the other night, or what antenna are you on?
Yeah, I'm on the stacks tonight, and probably when you start going through here north, I'll be on a dedicated 10-element Yagi North. This Stack 7s love to go south. They are my south and my southeast antenna for sure, and my west antenna. But going north is a 10-element, man. It's a honker going north. It beats out the. It's a 10-element that beats out Stack 7s.
All of them homebrew, or yeah, that's a single 10-element beating out Stack 7. That's you wouldn't think that would be the case, but well, you never know with antennas, do you?
Roger, Roger. Yeah, it and in its direction too. It loves to go north. Sometimes antennas are hotter just intrinsically in certain directions, you know. That's why I found 3 towers and 4 20-foot pipes antennas. With the combination gives you some good options, Roger.
Now, Austin's are nice. I sit there thinking, it still amazes me, like Ronnie, as well as he was able to hit the machine down there at Bethpage a while ago, and he's got an indoor antenna, you know, so a lot of people, you talk to them about ham radio, they think you have to have towers and big antennas outside and everything, but you can still enjoy the hobby with a homebrew or inexpensive antenna configured some way in your house and still get a signal out. So there's all kind of ways to enjoy the hobby, isn't it? KF4GNV.
Roger, Roger. Well, it's like that little train, what they used to call that little train, the I Think I Can train. You never know until you try with what you got. And, you know, when you start to build your list, I think that's the main thing, that you build a list of stations that you can contact and, you know, how to contact them. And so, you know, and then you just expand upon the list. I've spent 4 years now building a list of 212 station VHF repeaters that, you know, of all the repeaters, I don't have any repeaters that can't. Most all the repeaters I have on my list are repeaters that can. I got caught a little bit tonight. Mount Mitchell was coming in, and Randy up there in Mount Mitchell is a good friend, and we started talking a little bit there, and finally had to cut out because I, you know, wanted to make this QSO tonight. So, but Mount Mitchell was in again tonight. That's 400. I think it's 405 miles.
I can't remember the elevation on Mount Mitchell. What do you know what that is?
6,600 feet. 6,600 feet.
Well, I thought it'd be more than that. It's only 600 foot, huh? Well,
No, 6,600 feet.
I misunderstood you. 6,600 feet. Okay. I was thinking, 600 foot. I think my hill over at the farm's higher up than that, but okay, that makes more sense. I know that thing's got a heck of a footprint, so I've hit it several times, or in the past I've hit it with a vertical from Smyrna over where I used to live. And I was sitting there thinking about when I first got into this, I bought me a dual band handheld and tried to make do with that for a little while. And the first antenna I built was a little quarter wave, and I hung it from the ceiling fan in the house. And you ought to have seen the looks I got when my wife at the time came home and walked in there, and I had that quarter wave hanging from the ceiling fan and sitting there talking on the radio.
Oh, Roger. Well, that's another case of I think I can, you know. And if you hadn't have built that antenna, I assume you built it, and if you hadn't have built it, you'd have never known what you could do with something like that.
Yeah, I used to wear that little handheld out. I still have it. It doesn't work anymore. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I had never fooled with trying to send it in and see if they could fix it, but probably costs way more than it's worth to fix it the way things are nowadays. But yeah, I kept a
Roger, Roger. Well, I'll tell you, you know, the interesting thing is Baofengs. Man, those things are, you know, for $20 or $25, whatever, you know, they are the most amazing radios. Like I say, I use one in the park on the bike, on a pedestal, on a bike handlebars, as we ride around the pedway around the lake for about 2 hours every morning. And I can hit 18 repeaters with that Baofeng. Of course, it does have a nice little gain antenna there. It's 3.5 dB gain on VHF and 6 dB gain on UHF. But I can hit 18 repeaters. So it and the thing is, that radio is just you know, just accurate. It doesn't have bad days. You know, all it has is good days. Works exactly like it should. You know, no problems. So for the bucks, you know, you can hardly buy a better you know, a radio for the bucks to you know, particularly break into amateur radio with. What's your location now, Ron?
Yeah, I've never even seen one of those Baofengs, I don't reckon, but I know a lot of people use them. And I know a few years ago, it seemed like a lot of these folks that are into the prepping and stuff were getting them and weren't buying, weren't getting their license. You heard a lot of people getting on the radio and talking, and you say something about asking what their call sign was because they never gave a call sign and they didn't have one. So there was a little bit of a learning curve on that kind of stuff too. Apparently the inexpensive price tag on them had a lot of people buying them, and as part of their prepping, and they didn't realize they needed a license to use them. But hopefully they all got their license, and it's just that many more hams we have on the air, because obviously the more we use the frequencies, the better off we're going to be, because they're a very valuable asset.
Roger that for sure. Yeah, you know, when somebody shows up without a call sign, we amateurs just don't talk to them, because you know, we're not allowed actually to talk to maverick radio operators. They have to be fellow amateurs. Ron, what's your location now?
I am going by the Bonnieville exit as we speak. So I'm right up tight with the repeater, I reckon. KF4GNV.
Roger that. And let's see, do you remember where we switched over to the E-Town repeater?
Yes, sir, we swapped over there when I started down E-Town Hill.
Roger. I wonder if we might be able to shift to that one a little earlier tonight, because of this one. Conditions just aren't real good, Roger.
All right. I'll get a little closer up there. I'll jump over to that one.
Roger that. We'll give that one a shout, maybe just a little earlier tonight, because you know, the conditions. Although this one is pretty consistent with 3 lights, it's just a little noisier than what it was the other night. Of course, the other night we didn't have Gallatin, Tennessee in there, though. You know.
KF4WZR.
There you are. That dog has you out in the yard.
Yeah, he doesn't have me out there. He's over here somewhere asleep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just a quick question for you. I placed that 4 on the beam up today, and the antenna analyzed it, and I checked it right around 144. Had a 1.1. Okay, went up to 147 area. It's a 1.1. But I get down to 146 right here, and that it's a 1.2. And that just blew my mind.
Oh, that's really excellent. You couldn't ask for better than that, Roger. That's perfect. Might have missed that a little bit. Try that again, Ronnie.
I'm saying that's just what I threw together. I was just going to play around with a little 2-meter sideband, see if I can do any good.
Roger. Well, you're going to be horizontally polarized, right?
Roger.
Yeah, you should do real well. I've got 2 6-meter radios there, Ameritrax FM. I'd rather be sideband, but the deal I got, a couple of $100 for 16 Ameritrax and 9 banana boxes full of Motorola accessories, cable heads, cable runs, speakers, mics. You know what a banana box is, Roger? Roger, a banana box is a box about about 18 inches wide and 18 inches long, you know, and the top kind of compresses down from the top, fits around it, and it holds quite a bit of stuff. When I got it from the guy, I had 2 boxes in the passenger seat, 2 boxes on the passenger seat in the back side, 2 boxes in the middle, and 2 boxes on the driver's side in the back. Boy, this repeater's kind of fading in and out right now. I'm going to grab me a cup of coffee. I got one just off camera here, but oh, it's a long story. I'll be right back.
Hey, Ronnie, you know what I call bananas? KF4GNV. I call them monkey pickles.
Hey, that's what we need, some ID, that KC9VKV.
54 Bravo Golf Yankee. Hell, I was waiting for Bob there. He might have fell asleep on the monkey pickle. That is a good one.
64 Bravo, you ready to go? No, I ain't sleep yet, but I'm not far from it, so.
I know the feeling, Bob. I said, well, let's see, 3 hours and 15 minutes. Yep, it's 24 hours. I can go 24 hours, but I get any further than that, I'll just fall over. product tanks, sorting automotive parts before I went in at 5 o'clock one morning and went to Georgetown, worked all day, got back to 5 that evening, walked to another factory, walked down to 5 that morning. I sat there just trying to stand up, look at the parts, and just go home and get some sleep.
Well, the last time I pulled in, I like that for 48 hours. I worked in water company here, and I went on the regular field. My regular field left the field. Well, they went morning, my relief man called at about 6:30.
KC9VKV. Hey, Ron, you still got a copy there?
Yes, sir. Just
Roger, Roger. What's your location now?
I am at Glendale, Kentucky.
Roger, Roger. Yeah, it's pretty noisy on this end. I got about one light and a half. Roger.
Okay, Ron, you have a good one too. Be safe out there. Talk to you tomorrow night. KF4WZR.
Have a good one there, Ronnie. Be careful out there, my man. We'll talk to you maybe tomorrow night. W4BJG. You fellas have a good one and a safe one. Head wherever you're going. This is W4RK.
Y'all have a good one. Safe trip, safe travels. W4BGY.
Threes, you guys have a real good night. It's been a pleasure. And you guys get some rest, and we'll talk to you tomorrow night. This is KC9VKV will be QSY to E-Town.
Okay, Jim, you have a good night. 73 KF4WZR.
Fellas, I'm going to put it to bed. W4BGY.
KF4GNV.
KC9VKV. Conditions were not good tonight on Bonnieville. You copy this one, okay?
Yes, sir. Solid copy. Have it full scale.
Roger. Yeah, it's unfortunate that Bonnieville wasn't a little stronger tonight. But on the offside, the Gallatin repeater was bodacious. Did you get a chance to check out any of the Ken Britton Yagi antennas, cheap antennas?
Holiday or something like that. Of course, we got a holiday weekend coming up, so I expect to have heavy traffic Friday evening.
Man, my radio just jumped a couple of channels. It went over to channel. It should have been on 16, and I looked up and it had bounced over to 14. Oh boy.
Oh, man. So you missed all that good stuff I was saying. I mean, it was real important, too.
Oh, Lordy be. Something tells me it's going to be a long night. We're in the solid copy realm right now.
Yeah, you were pretty solid into the Bonneville, and then every now and then you'd fade out. So I guess it's just conditions, or maybe the flight path up here at Louisville tonight is maybe got the planes going right between your line of sight into the repeater down there.
Oh, I can tell when a plane flies through. It sets up an oscillation that you know, you'll have a solid signal, and then a plane will fly through, and it'll start rocking signal-wise, you know, just oscillating even higher than what you had before the plane flew through, and then it would fall down to almost zero, and then it would fall back up to, you know, higher than where you were, and then eventually it would stabilize out pretty much where it was before the plane flew through.
That's something I don't care a lot about. Is, I mean, they're pretty amazing to watch and everything, but I've only flown a couple of times. I guess 4 times. I flew to and from someplace a couple of times, so it's 4 flights, but it's not my cup of tea.
Roger, Roger. You should try a helicopter for a while. When I was at HAS, I would fly Skywatch 84 for Dick Gilbert when he went on vacation. So I would fly, well, actually I had a pilot. The owner of the helicopter was my pilot, and I would do the traffic reports in the morning and in the afternoon. And boy, I tell you, in the afternoon, man, it was tough. After lunch, you'd be in that helicopter. It was a Bell 47, same kind of helicopter that they used on MASH in the Korean War, you know. And that thing had a vibration to it, constant vibration. And after a good lunch, you know, you'd be up in the sun would be coming through the bubble there, and oh boy, it would be everything I could do to stay awake.
Oh, I can imagine. You get you a good lunch, and that sun coming in there warming you up, and you just want to kick back and snooze. Of course, kind of defeats the purpose of doing the traffic reports if you're up there sleeping, I guess, doesn't it?
Oh, Roger, well, I got nudged a couple of times by the pilot there. And I would already be on the air, so to speak, and so I would have to try to figure out what was going on as I was speaking, which is always very interesting, you know. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, and QSO with KF4GNV, and we're doing a 3.5-hour QSO from Gallatin, just outside of Nashville, Gallatin, Tennessee, up to Indianapolis. Next stop for us will be the 146.850 repeater in the Knobs in Indiana. That's where I am.
Jim, let me correct you on my call sign. It's Kilo Foxtrot 4 Golf November Victor.
I'm sorry, November Victor.
Yeah, it's B and E. It sounds a lot alike. That's why we got those good phonetics to use. Kind of takes out the guesswork, because there's certainly a lot of letters that sound like other letters, don't they?
Oh, they do. They do, and particularly like in HF work, you know, phonetics really play an important part, because you seldom have the absolute perfect copy on HF.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I've always enjoyed about working CW. You know, I guess I've been told to have a little bit of accent, but I don't know. I think other people have accents, but you know how that is. But especially like working DX or something, and people have English as a second language, you know, and a lot of times it's hard to understand them on phone. But with CW, it doesn't matter what language they have, you can understand what they're sending on CW.
Roger, but there isn't there a kind of accents on the code. Different people, I guess, have what they call different fists, different techniques.
Oh yeah, certainly are. Especially folks using a straight key. You know, you get maybe a little more personality out of that. Once you move up to an electronic keyer, it's not quite as defined. And then there's the folks that use the bugs, which I've only ever heard a couple of different operators that were really smooth on a bug that I could understand. There's a lady that was net control on the Tennessee CW net. I believe she was somewhere in Missouri. I can't remember. It's been so long since I checked in on it, but she used a bug and had an excellent fist on CW, and was very easy to copy. But as a rule,
W.
myself personally, and most of the time when somebody's using a bug, I have trouble copying them.
This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor in QSO with KF4GN Victor.
KF4GNV at the bottom of E-Town Hill, so moving right along tonight.
Roger. One of the radio stations that I worked for when I was a kid of 16 used a bug in their news, and they would just hit it to auto dots, you know, and between stories.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I bet you got a lot of neat stories about working at the different radio stations and seen a lot of the advancements in technology from when you started.
Roger, Roger. Well, this guy that owned this station was, in a way, he was a nut because he refused to build power supplies. He would just use batteries to control relays, and all of our tape decks were controlled by relays, which were powered by batteries. Our turntables, turning them on and off, was controlled by a battery running a relay. Our bug was battery. The reverb was battery, and things would the batteries would tend to run out at different times in different things, and you never knew if something was going to work or not. It was always very interesting, and you say, oh, I've got a dead battery. Sorry, folks.
Wow. Yeah, I guess you'd have to hook up a charger to get them going, or I don't know. That's man, oh man. Yeah, a lot of folks try to cut corners on everything, don't they?
Roger, he'd come through every once in a while and change all the batteries, I guess, you know, but I don't think he ever had the routine down where he would be in there, you know, like a couple of days before the batteries ran down. It was always after something ceased to work that he would show up, you know, and so you had this problem until he showed up.
Well, where all have you worked on radio stations? Just up around the Louisville area, or did you venture off anywhere?
Oh, I ventured way before way before Kentucky. I was living, when I was 15, I was living in a boarding house in Nashville and going to electronics school, Mid-South Electronics in Nashville. And my instructor, who was working at a radio station called Weno Radio, got me a job there too. I was a glorified board operator at Weno, and Weno was the only, at that time, the only country music station in the country music capital of the world. And I would be riding the board. They would have these remote broadcasts over the weekends, you know, and I worked the board for the weekends, and I would get the remotes on the air and get the put the commercials in and read the news, and basically a glorified a board operator for that, you know.
Oh wow! What frequency was that on?
I was trying to think. It was up on the, you know, the higher end, like 1350 or 1450, somewhere around in there, I believe. But my first job was during a summer vacation of school. I think I was 14 and a half, possibly 15. And this was in a place called Pahokee, Florida, which is just on the southern edge of Lake Okeechobee. Population probably about 2,000. They had a you know, town square where two roads came through, and on one side of the town square they had the radio station, and on the other side of town, or other side of the town square, they had a you know, boarding house. So I was staying in the boarding house and getting up at probably 5 o'clock to get the station on, and I would do like I think 5:30, 6 o'clock till 10 o'clock, and take a break, and then I'd come back at 2 o'clock till 5 o'clock. So that's what I did my summer vacation that year, Roger.
Oh man! Yeah, nowadays you can't get kids to do any kind of work. You know, were you from Florida?
Yeah, actually, I was born in Pahokee, and then we moved to West Palm Beach, which is you know, right next door to Palm Beach, where all the millionaires are. Of course, I didn't see many of those. They were on Palm Beach, which is an island just off, you know, probably about a quarter of a mile from West Palm Beach. 2 or 3 bridges that go over there.
Oh yeah, I've actually been through Pahokee. I years ago used to haul aluminum, and we had customers all over Florida. I'd go down there and be gone most of the week when I'd do that run. KF4GNV.
KC9VKV. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. That area out there is like muck. I don't know if you know what muck is, but that's kind of like a black soil, and they raise sugar cane out there. But the other thing is that that kind of soil is kind of damp, wet, and it really helps radio stations punch out because it gives a real good ground system. And there was the station that I worked for was like 250 watts, but the signal after 60 miles or so was it was kind of like a kilowatt. Amazing what the soil consistency of muck does for, you know, AM broadcast transmitter.
W4BEK repeater.
Yeah, you're talking about Weno being the only country music station at the time in Nashville. You know, a lot of people they don't realize that WSM didn't go 100% country till around 1979 or 1980, and you know, a lot of folks find that hard to believe, but that's the way it was.
Oh, Roger, WSM, WLAC, they were all middle of the road during the day, and then LAC would move into soul and rhythm and blues, and SM would move into country. So, but being clear channel stations, nobody heard those across the country until nighttime. So that's what they thought that station did all the time.
You know, when I was growing up, you know, they were still their studio was on top of the LNC tower, and you know, that's where they were doing their thing. But of course, the transmitter is out there south of Nashville, south of Brentwood. It's a real neat place. I've been out there several times, and used to run a local delivery route, and would have to go over there and deliver. And really enjoyed getting to see how the transmitter was set up and all the neat stuff they have there. They've got a map in that building I would absolutely love to have, but it shows their coverage, and it's really neat to me to be able to see that.
Roger, did you ever have a chance to go up into the LAC studios downtown?
No, never was able to go to WLAC studio. I've been to WSM when they're on the LNC Tower. I've been to WSM, of course, you know where they are now at the Opryland Hotel. I've been to WKDF studio, Rutledge Hill over there, but I think that's the only stations I've been in.
Roger. Yeah, I liked, as a 15 and a half, 16-year-old, I liked Nashville real well. And that's actually why when I was, like in 1970, looking for, you know, a radio station, I was actually looking for New York or Chicago or LA, but when I saw two possibilities, one was WHAS and the other was Des Moines. And since I lived in Nashville, I figured I liked that weather pretty well, so I figured Louisville wouldn't be too much different from that, and it wasn't. So that's when I came to HAS.
Oh, I'm trying to think of the call letters up there in Des Moines. It's I think it's 1,000 on the dial, and I can't remember what the call sign is, but I used to listen to that quite a bit. I love listening to AM radio. Just, I don't know, it takes me back to when I was a kid, I guess. And that's all we had in the cars, you know, and our daddy's pickup, we'd be going somewhere and listening on either WSM or WLW or what is it, WLS, just all the different stations. But that was always intriguing to me as a kid, you know, hearing the radio. Fade stuff and the little crackling and popping you get sometimes on AM as it fades in and out. It just, I don't know, I just enjoy it. It's like real radio to me.
Roger, that's what I love about my HF radio. It'll tune down into the AM bands, and with that 80-meter dipole, man, I can pick any station I want, you know. I like the Chicago station, WLS, and what's the WGN? I like WGN real well, and I built a loop antenna for AM DXing, and off the one end I was getting WGN, and then off the other side I was getting the Atlanta station WSB, and I could copy those two stations in the daytime, Roger.
Oh wow, that's amazing. You must really be in a good spot, and that antenna's doing its thing for sure. But yeah, one of these big trucks anymore, people don't realize there's very little metal in them, and the AM radios don't work like they used to. And they just don't have a good enough ground on them, you know. And you can still pick up some of the stations at night, but it's not as good as they once were. But I will say the truck I'm in now is better than the one I had about 3 trucks ago. So, but I still get on the AM dial. WSC all night goes up.
Roger. We might want to jump over to the 850. Roger. It's breaking up there. Did you copy that? Move to the 850. KC9VKV QSO-VLOG to 146.850. This is KC9VKV.
KF4GNV.
Roger.
Yeah, I come across that last field back there and pretty much lost E-Town, so good timing.
Roger, we probably could have moved just a couple of minutes earlier than when we did. Roger. But it's nice to make a shift to a more solid situation, Roger.
Absolutely. Yeah, this has been a nice treat. The last couple of trips up through here, it's kind of like how it used to be. You used to find people all over, all hours of the day and night to talk with on 2 meters, and I don't know. I think there's still people out there listening more than what folks realize, but there's just not that much activity anymore. I guess most folks are sitting there with a laptop or an iPad or something in front of them looking online.
Roger. This is KC9VKV in QSO with KF4GNV. We've been QSOing from Gallatin, Tennessee, all the way up to here, and then we're going to continue on to North Vernon and into Indianapolis. It'll be, let's see, be a 305-mile QSO. You know, I never thought to look that if my video recorder will do, what did we say, 4 hours?
Yeah, we should be able to get it in those parameters from where we started, so it ought to work.
Roger, Roger. So, do you make this run 4 or 5 times a week?
That's correct, 5 nights a week.
Roger that. Well, tonight we'll see if we can't take that North Vernon repeater. Let's see. We bailed out. You still had about what, 6 miles or 7 miles to go before you got to your destination?
I believe so, maybe 10 or something like that, and then I swapped over to the Greenwood repeater and talked to the other station who was at Nineveh, Indiana. I believe, I can't remember his call sign, but he, one said his name was Chris.
Roger, Roger that. Yeah, I know we were close to Indianapolis, and I was I was about to fall asleep there. But maybe tonight I'll get a second wind. I got a cup of coffee here. I've been sipping on. Maybe that'll keep me going, Roger.
Yeah, I start out the night with coffee, and my lovely bride fixes my dinner for me and packs it in my lunch box, and have a nice steaming hot tumbler full of coffee, and then she fills up a replacement thermos for me, and of course I have water and whatnot to drink along the way, and been snacking on some pretzels and some almonds up through here, and usually what I do when I get to Indianapolis and get turned around and get ready to head back home, I'll fill my coffee mug up again, and it usually takes me about an hour sipping on that. And it's nice. There's been a couple times that I didn't drink my coffee and got all the way back home, and 12, 14 hours later, and we opened up the little Yeti thing that I don't know what they call that, tumbler or something other, a little thermos-like deal, and the coffee's still hot. It just amazes me that it'll stay hot that long.
Roger, Roger. Well, see, you got a good thermos there. A lot of those don't. They say they do, but they don't. Like, I don't know if you've ever had a Bubba cup, but they're pretty much dead after about 6 or 7 hours.
I never had one of those. I've got a old Aladdin stainless steel thermos I've had for years, and it did okay for 3 or 4 hours, but anything over that, it wasn't hot at all. So, and if my coffee's not hot, I'm not a fan of it. I don't like to drink it if it's cold.
Yeah, it tastes different. Doesn't taste exactly like coffee. But now in my case, I drink 1 cup of coffee a day. I'll drink half the cup for breakfast, and then I'll sip on it for the rest of the day. Just a sip here and there, and pretty soon I've had my cup of coffee, but it's lasted all day long.
Yeah, I used to take it in spells, and I got there for a long time. I didn't even care nothing about drinking it, and then started drinking it again. But I don't know. I just relish the fact that my wife takes the time to fix my dinner for me and fixes my coffee the way I like it and has it ready. So it always puts a smile on my face when I get up here to Indianapolis and open up that thermos, and that good piping hot coffee smell comes out of there. It makes me think of her, and I just really appreciate what she does. So it helps out a lot, and
Oh, that's a Roger there. We were trying to figure out exactly what your QTH is. Somebody said Kimona, Tennessee. Is that a Roger?
No, sir. It's Smyrna, Tennessee. Sierra, Mike, Yankee, Romeo, November, Alpha. Smyrna, Tennessee. It's about 25 miles southeast of Nashville. It's in between Nashville and Murfreesboro off I-24.
Oh, Roger. So let's say south. So you have to go through Nashville, Roger?
Yeah, that's correct. I go through Nashville, going up, and usually coming back in the mornings. I'll jump off the interstate up in Kentucky and come down the 2-lane road and bypass Nashville altogether just because of all the traffic.
Roger, I was trying to find some information on that Shout South group there. They have on their way down to Birmingham, they have some other repeaters that are kind of south of Nashville. I was just wondering if maybe we might someday hit that. If I can just find my cheat sheet here. Story of my life. If I can just find the next cheat sheet. Cannot seem to find it. It's my page 7 of my Yaesu VHF radio, and it only has maybe 12 or 15 repeaters on it, but they're all pretty much the Shout South group. Let's see. Here it is, page 7, Shout South. They are down to Birmingham, Huntsville, Alabama, Hendersonville, Tennessee. Let's see, Hendersonville. That's on the north side of Nashville, isn't it?
Yes, sir. That's actually not too far from Bethpage, the repeater we were on. So, yeah, that's on the north side of Nashville. I was thinking there was one possibly down around maybe Columbia or Pulaski, somewhere down in there.
I have Beech Grove, Tullahoma, Altamont. Let's see. Yeah, Hendersonville, Huntsville, Beech Grove. Any of those sound familiar?
Oh yeah, all of them. What frequencies at Beech Grove? I'm not aware of a machine down there. There used to be one there, but a tornado took the tower down several years ago, and they kind of moved it to a low profile in Murfreesboro. But apparently somebody's got one up down there now. So I hadn't ventured out a whole lot on the radio around the house. Like I said, I got a home repeater I use, and pretty much stay on that one when I'm around the house. But I'm curious to see what the repeater is there at Beech Grove now. KF4GNV Mobile, Louisville, Kentucky.
KC9VKV, Beech Grove, 147.270, 147.270, with a PL of 114.8, PL 114.8.
Oh, okay. Well, they've done some moving around. That frequency used to be, I think it might have been around Gallatin or somewhere at one time. So I guess they've moved it around. That's good to know.
Roger. Well, as well as I was hitting the 145-390 in Gallatin, see, that's part of Shout South, and you could work any of those repeaters coming up from the south side of Nashville we'd get another 50 miles in there from those, Roger.
Oh yeah, I should be able to hit that Bethpage from the house probably. It wouldn't be too big a stretch at all. So yeah, I could probably carry that all the way home, to be quite honest. But if not far from home. Yeah, they had a lot of flooding over around Bethpage. I guess it was Friday or Saturday, whenever we had all that rain. Matter of fact, they had a fatality. A lady fell off into a creek or a little river or something behind her house and wound up drowning. But yeah, that's a little community, actually a little north and east of Gallatin and up close to the Tennessee-Kentucky state line. So, yeah, I was just sitting there thinking, you're putting a signal all the way across the state of Kentucky. You're in the southern end of Indiana and going all the way down into the north end of Tennessee. And that in itself is just amazing, you know, when you just think about it with 2 meters. And you're not using an amplifier or anything, are you? Are you strictly using your Yaesu 2900?
Oh, that's it. That's it. Beautiful radio. 75 watts, though, you know, so you'd have to be doing 300 watts to even maybe notice a difference.
It just goes back to what I've always said, you know, I just think it all hinges on your antenna. You get a good resonant antenna, that's hard to beat. You know, that and altitude, you can't beat altitude, but an amplifier is not the end-all, be-all. I guess there's situations it's nice, and a lot of people enjoy using them, but personally, I've never seen the need to spend the money on them.
Roger that. Well, I noticed on HF running the SB220 that I'll get 10 people come back to me. They're all barefoot and right in my noise level. They are absolutely in my noise level, Roger. But I to them are, you know, pretty hot, like S9, 10 over, 20 over. But, you know, barefoot coming back, man, they are in my noise.
Roger. Yeah, it does make a difference. Makes the signal a little louder and whatnot, but I just, I don't know. I enjoy running low power stuff. Like I said, I've got a 10-tech Argonaut 5 that's maximum output's 20 watts, and I absolutely love that little rig. It does an excellent job, and of course most of the time I'm using it on CW, so running around 10 watts or so, sometimes 5 watts, but does the job for what I want to do with it. And then I ran 10-tech Scout 50-watt HF mobiles for years, mobile, and people were always amazed that it was just a 50-watt rig.
Roger. Well, now CW, it doesn't take much, you know. Gosh, takes about the quarter of the power as a sideband to really make some positive cipher out of CW.
Yes, sir. It's a lot of fun to me anyway to be able to take that very little power. I've made some contacts on the 1 watt, and even used a little homebrew transmitter that a buddy of mine made. It only did half a watt. Of course, it's ugly sometimes when the conditions aren't that great when you're running low power like that. But it's a challenge, and it's a lot of fun, and rather rewarding to know that you can take that and make a contact. But and I'm sure the folks running the big gun stations get just as much excitement out of doing that. So it's just all about enjoying the hobby, whatever works best for you.
That's a roger there. Roger there. Yeah, and then, you know, being able to run that low power, of course, in a pile-up or something, you kind of get shot shot down. But when you're in the clear, man, that's where it's at there. Do you ever try to contest when you have pile-ups with low power?
No, sir. I used to do a little contesting several years ago, and mainly it was at someone else's station, or like field day. But used to be one of the hams down not far from me. We would go over to his house and do some contests. He was really big into it there for a while, and we did multi-singles, or where we'd have several operators rotate out. And it was great because his wife had a side business as a caterer, so we would have all this awesome food to snack on while we were over there contesting, and we would rotate in and out. We'd go for so long, and if you didn't make a contact, well, then you'd get up, and he had a nice recliner to sit in for the operating position, and it was a whole lot of fun. And of course, I was just running 100-watt rigs and homebrew wire antennas, so it's a little bit challenging. But there was even one time we ran a multi. I carried my FT900 JZU over there and hooked it up, and we operated out of one room with that, and then the other station was a TS50 Kenwood. So nothing elaborate whatsoever. But we had a lot of fun doing it.
KC9VKV. Yeah, I think dipole wire antennas are just probably about one of the best antennas you can have. I think, anyway. As far as giving you a signal to your receiver, my 80-meter dipole, I run an attenuate about 15 dB plus. I've got the RF gain turned all the way down and just bring it up with the AF gain just barely enough to get the volume to where it needs to be. So I'm just maybe about a couple of dB into compression in the AGC circuit, just barely at the threshold of compression. So if some 10-gallon station comes in there, it's not going to kill me because the AGC will take care of it. But normally I'm just outside of compression, so that signal is just absolutely pristine. And then running the dBx noise reduction in back of that, it signal starts to sound more like a telephone circuit than HF.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we ran some loop antennas as well over there, which I've had a couple of loops through the years myself. I always enjoyed using those. Seemed like they were a little bit less noisy than the dipoles, but you just can't beat the dipole for what you get and the simplicity of it. That's one of the things I always point out when somebody's interested in amateur radio and they start asking questions. Think you need beams and towers and all such as that, and I say, well, you don't have to have them. I've never run anything like that. I've always just used wires, and then especially when you tell them, you've got a wire strung up in your attic and operate that way, they say, well, I live in a covenant restricted neighborhood. I can't have outside antennas and all that. Okay. You got an attic? Yeah. Why? Well, string your wire up in there, put your loop up in your attic or a dipole in your attic, and you're on the air.
Oh, that's a roger. Yeah, we got this one guy. He kids all the time about the Gestapo HOA There's these two old ladies that make it their business to get in his business and into his amateur life and try to make it hell. And so he tries to do the best he can, but he does use a long wire antenna that you can't see it. It's really thin wire.
Oh yeah, there's always ways to get around it and get a signal out, and you have to be pretty ingenious sometimes. I know I lived in an apartment for about a year, and I strung up an antenna inside the apartment, and it worked. It wasn't pretty, but it got me on the air a little bit.
KC9VKV. Let's see. About how far are you towards North Vernon?
I am 4 miles inside of Indiana, so I'm trying to remember what North Vernon, where it's at, around the 34.
Well, let's see here. They're about 60 some odd miles from the river, I believe.
Okay, well then I'm about 60 miles out. So yeah, still a little ways from there. Now that was the 250 repeater, right?
Yeah, Roger.
You know, we're really blessed to have all these great repeaters to utilize and to enjoy and to just tinker and play with, you know, and it's takes somebody special to want to fool with keeping a repeater up, because there's an awful lot of work to it.
Oh, Roger, that is true. That is true. And, you know, my motto is use it or lose it. So I try to use repeaters as much as I can, you know, all the way up and down the line there. And then, you know, like this QSO that we're going from Gallatin, Tennessee to Indianapolis, which is, I can't see my notes where I am, but that's 305 miles, about 4-hour QSO. I think that demonstrates very adequately how repeaters can be used along the way, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, all the towers over on the knobs are shining bright tonight. Some nights they're not all that visible, it seems. I guess it's a haze or something, but boy, they're just clear as a bell tonight. All stacked up there with all the red lights and flashing and carrying on, look like a bunch of soldiers in line.
Roger that. Now I'm about in that area. I'm between the city of New Albany and the knobs, about halfway between there. And my altitude is probably about 100 feet above average terrain, Roger.
That's another reason you can always get such a good signal out that in the antennas that you build. But that altitude doesn't hurt a thing, does it?
No, that does a great job. And, you know, I don't, like I say, this, the antenna that I'm on right now is, let me see which one it is. This is on a 20-foot tube, two 10-foot tubes together, 20 foot, with about 3 foot of PVC pipe to keep from detuning the vertical Yagi.
a very nice antenna, extremely economically, just using some stuff you pick up at the hardware store or stuff you have laying around. I meant to ask Ronnie a while ago what he made his antenna out of. He was talking about that Yagi he built over the weekend, and it sounded like it's going to do an excellent job for him. From what he was saying, the standing wave was on it.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, that was a good standing wave. I think his his biggest excursion was towards the lower side of the 140, 140, what's it, 146 something. It went up to 1.2.
Yeah, I believe that was correct. Yeah, you can't get much better than that. That's going to be hard to beat. So getting broadbanded and running it horizontally polarized for sideband, that ought to really do him a good job. I had a rig a couple, 3 years ago that was all mode on UHF, VHF, as well as HF, and 6 meters, and enjoyed a little bit of 2-meter sideband. But may wind up getting me another one of those rigs one of these days to mess around with. That was a lot of fun.
Roger. Do you remember about what time it was when we were working through Gallatin?
It was, I think we started around 11 p.m. Central, so around midnight your time.
Well, let's see. No, I think it might have been 11 your time. It would have been 10 my time.
Oh, you're not on Eastern time?
My time right now is 10 minutes till 2, Roger. What time do you have?
10 minutes to 1. Yeah, you're on Eastern, I'm on Central. So yeah, it was, because I didn't get off the yard till around 9:30 Central tonight, and it takes me about roughly an hour and a half to get around Bowling Green, and I think that's where we swapped over to the Bethpage repeaters when I was in Bowling Green. So it would have been 9:30, 10, been pretty close to 11 o'clock my time, so that would have been close to midnight yours. KF4GNV.
Roger. Now I was thinking it was, I thought it was earlier than that. I didn't do my time, unfortunately. Well, I thought it was at 11 something my time.
I don't know. Maybe it's probably 11 something, because we started out on Bonneville. I hollered out right after I crossed the state line. So that would have been that would have been about 11:35 or so your time when I first threw my call out, and that was on Bonneville, and then we swapped over about midnight to the other repeater. So yeah, that would be more like it, because it takes me right in about an hour to get to the state line after I leave. And like I said, I was 6 miles into Kentucky when I first threw out my call.
Roger, and that went to you were doing Bonneville, right, on the first call?
QSL.
Roger, I'm about brain dead at this point. I tell you, sometimes, when Bonneville was in and out, not solid, man, that is, that takes a toll when you're working a repeater that's in and out, whereas like this one, E-Town, this one, and North Vernon are just solid, The the let's see, the Gallatin repeater was even more solid than the Bonnieville tonight.
Yeah, that thing has an excellent footprint. So I'm gonna try that at home. If I remember in the morning, I'll try it on my way home. I have a little 2-meter in my car, and I'll see if I can hit it from when I'm at the house. I don't see why I couldn't, but yeah, I'll definitely tinker around with it on the way back in the morning and see how far out I can hear it or get back into it. So I don't know how much activity it has on it, but unfortunately, most of the repeaters don't have very much activity on them anymore. So little spurts here and yonder, but I've also found, when you start doing like we've been doing the last, Friday night and tonight, having a QSO for quite a long time, people, start scanning and hear it. And like we ran across Chris up there Friday night, there's sometimes just having a little activity on repeaters spawns a little more activity, and pretty soon people realize there's actually people up and functioning and moving around all hours of the night. So maybe we'll spark a little more interest.
Roger, Roger. We could use a little input there. This repeater is pretty active in the area, along with the 146-940. They both are probably the two most active repeaters in the area.
Yeah, when I had a 1 a.m. start time, I'd always just have radio on scan and ran across quite a bit of activity on some simplex frequencies up in here as well. That's always a nice thing to find, is people still utilizing simplex. So there's little activity out around. It just depends on what time of day you go through somewhere. But I've gone through I don't know how many times, and just had the radio scan and never heard anybody. You hear repeaters IDing, and sometimes I'll hear a repeater ID, I'll bring it up and throw my call sign out and have stirred up some QSOs that way.
KC9VKV. Did you ever do much traveling around La Follette, Tennessee?
Oh, yes, sir. I used to go to Greenville, Tennessee, and back every night. Of course, that's, going across 40 is south of La Follette, but been up through there many a time.
Yeah, they've got some really nice repeaters up there. Some of those hills are over 3,000 feet tall.
Yeah, there's a very active ham radio community over in East Tennessee and down in eastern Kentucky. I mean, there would be people on multiple repeaters all night long. That was always fun going that direction. I enjoyed it very much so. I always found it odd when I went to Memphis. A tremendous number of repeaters down that way and zero activity. I never could stir up anybody down around Memphis.
Yeah, Roger. I think it has to do with, if a repeater is used like during drive times, morning and afternoon drive times, then it tends to be, a little more active during the day in general,
Yeah, I think so. But I always enjoyed, we were talking about that Shout South system down there, the system that they have across Tennessee with the weather stuff. The M-Tiers is what it's called. I don't know if you've ever looked that up, or they've got a website, MTIERS Mike Tango Echo Alpha Romeo Sierra.com, I believe is what it is. But or if you just put in your search engine MTIERS, it should pull them up. Shows you a map of all across Tennessee and where the repeaters are located, their frequencies, and everything. And that was always a lot of fun. When I was going to Memphis, there was a couple of friends that I could talk to from Memphis going back in. Well, one of them was on his drive time to work, and another one was a retired gentleman that would set his alarm clock just to get up and chat with us. So I always looked forward to that every morning. They kept me company coming back out of Memphis back toward Nashville. KF4GNV.
KC9VKV. Yeah, when we were talking on Gallatin earlier, I could think before you joined, I was talking to a guy down in Huntsville, Alabama, on the Shout South, and I think they were rolling tape on the situation there to see, I guess, just to make a record of the QSO. And you know, I told them that we would only be on the Gallatin repeater for a brief while until we switched off to Bonnieville. But he said, "Yeah, not a problem. I'm just going to roll audio, so we'll have a record."
Yeah, I think the people enjoy seeing how far the coverage is on their systems like that, and it's pretty neat to get them all. And I can't even begin to imagine the amount of coordination it takes to get all that stuff to work out like it does.
Roger, Roger. Well, that Gallatin repeater took you all the way to Bonnieville, Roger.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm looking forward to when we get our house built out at the farm to see what kind of repeaters I can hit there. We're going to build it up on one of the hills. I don't go all the way to the top of that particular hill, but I think it's going to give me a great shot to the south and possibly to the north and to the east. I'm not so sure how good I'll do back toward the west, but I'm hoping to be able to catch some of the guys on some of these Tennessee repeaters that I used to talk on from home when we get built out there. So who knows when that'll be? Probably be a year or so, but just a work in progress. But I think it's going to be a great radio location.
Oh, roger that. And, you know, sometimes you have certain directions that are blocked. Like my shot north is blocked by the knobs, and my shot west is blocked by the knobs. But I do go I do go south pretty well, and I do go southeast pretty well, and northeast pretty well, and depending north pretty well, at least as far as North Vernon's concerned. Now, if North Vernon were any further west, I would probably have a problem by you know, getting blocked by the knobs.
Do you have very much activity up here on 6 meters?
Well, I'm not really qualified to answer that. I have two 6-meter radios, but they're FM, and the only traffic that I've run across is traffic that I've generated off, you know, 2 meters to say, hey, let's go do something on 6 meters, you know. But I've not, you know, my 6-meter radios are Meritrax, which do 100 watts, but they only program, they have 199 channels, but they're only programmed for 20 frequencies, and only, I think, 2 are simplex, and the rest are repeater frequencies. Looked like maybe this repeater was programmed down around Knoxville or something. That seems to be where, you know, a lot of these repeater frequencies are, between Knoxville and Nashville.
Yeah, I've got a Linko 6-meter FM mobile that I had in the pickup I used to have. I had never mounted it anything since I sold that truck, but there's a few of us that got on there, monkeyed around on 6 a little bit, but it's not a tremendous amount of activity on there down around the house, which I think that's the case most places. And talking about Knoxville area, I know heard a lot of people talking about 900 megs over there, that they had a repeater or two. Some of them were using and had got some gear to use on 900. So I haven't heard any chit chat much anywhere else about stuff on 900.
Roger, we've got a couple of repeaters in this area that are on 900 up in the knobs, and as I understand it, one of the repeaters goes south and the other repeater goes north. And I haven't I had a 900 for a while, but there just wasn't that much traffic, and me and this other guy were the only ones that had decent signals into the repeater. Everybody else was just really noisy.
Yeah, I guess that's similar with the 1.2 gig as well. There's probably a handful of folks down around Nashville that use 1.2 gig, but very, very little traffic whatsoever. I think one of the main repeaters was used basically by one of the repeater owners and his wife. I think that's the only ham band she ever talked on. They kind of had that to chat back and forth with, and with such little activity on it, it was almost like a private repeater.
Roger, those upper frequencies like that are pretty much like 220. I mean, it's a nice band, but just not that much use, not that much activity.
There's a fairly active group on 220 down around Nashville, but they've got several repeaters linked in together. And in fact, they used to have, at one time, there was a link over to the east and up the East Coast and all the way down to Florida. And then I think they kind of dropped the link on all that because you'd have so much stuff tied up together. And then they did have a link pretty good into over the Mont Eagle Mountain down into Chattanooga, North Georgia, and whatnot. But it's been a little while since I've done much of anything on 220 as well. I've got a little handheld for 220 and a mobile rig as well, but I don't hardly ever use it. Seems like most of the stuff I do anymore is just on strictly on 2-meter. KF4GNV. I'm up around 26-mile marker. How am I still hitting this one solid, or do we need to think about swapping over?
You're solid in, but if you want, we can see what happens. You want to run over to North Vernon for a minute and see what happens?
Yeah, let's give it a try. I think I can probably hit it from here, so we'll find out. KF4GNV.
KC9VKV will be QSY to North Vernon. The frequency is 145, 250, no PL. QSO-VLOG to North Vernon. And KC9VKV. This one, audio level is a lot lower.
Yes, indeed. Still sounds good, but I had to reach over and bump the volume up just a hair.
Sounds like maybe 20% modulation or thereabouts. But still in all, a fine repeater.
Yes, sir. Tell you what, I'm happy to be having a dry run so far tonight. I think we're going to have a little more rain down there at the house this week, but probably going to push my barn get built back a little bit more. It'll get done one of these days. I'll sure be glad to see it when it gets built. I've been anxiously awaiting it for several months now.
Oh, Roger that. So you're, how far along are you on building that house?
Oh, the house, we ain't even did anything on it. We're still thinking about it, what we want, and different things. We've pretty well got the site for it, but I'm talking about getting a barn. I'm trying to get a barn built, and I've got had the dozer man out there and got my pads leveled off for it, and now just waiting for the man that's going to build it for me to up with a couple other projects and it get dry enough so he can get up there and get started on mine. So he said he'd take him about 3 weeks whenever he got started if the weather holds out. And I guess maybe one good thing about it, the longer it takes, the better chance of having 3 solid weeks of fairly dry weather.
Roger, you know, I think we might have jumped a little early on this repeater. Let's go back to the 850 for a few more minutes. Roger, roger.
Roger, KF4GNV.
KC9VKV, QSO-VLOG to 146,850. KC9VKV. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor.
KF4GNV.
Roger, roger. Yeah, we might have been just a little early on our switch there, Roger.
Yeah, maybe so. I didn't think to look at the power setting. I might not have been on high power too, so that might have been part of it.
Now you're pulling a Ronnie on me.
Whew! Well, I tell you what, I just about took out a deer.
Oh boy. Glad you missed it.
I am too. I'm glad there wasn't nobody around me so I could avoid it. That was a close one. I've hit a few deer over the years with the truck, but it's no fun. They usually do some damage.
To the truck or to the deer?
To both.
Roger, Roger. Well, when we were riding around Sunday up towards North Vernon, we saw a couple of deer along Highway 3.
Yes, sir. There's plenty of them around anymore. I know when I was a kid, they were pretty scarce down in Tennessee, but they've really built them back up to where they're almost a nuisance in a lot of places. But they have a whole lot of deer vehicle accidents every day. I know I used to share a truck with one of the city drivers, and that particular truck, he and I both hit several deer with it, and we had joked about getting some little stickers of deer to put on the side of it, like the fighter pilots used to do with their kills, you know, and see if we made it to where we're an ace or not.
Yeah, Roger, Roger, I can see that. You know, got 16 little paste-on deers alongside the door.
Oh, me. I tell you what, I hit one up in southern Illinois one night. It was a monster. That thing was huge. It was a lot nicer than, a lot bigger deer than anything I've ever harvested with a rifle. But they grow big up there, that's for sure. They get plenty of grain and stuff, I guess, and got plenty of nutrients to whatever strain of deer that they have. They are extremely large.
Yeah, you wonder how they can get on the interstate through the fence and, you know, out into the interstate.
Oh, that fence is nothing to them. They can hop right across that. That's no problem whatsoever. They can get across those fences. They can jump a lot higher than the fences on the interstate.
Roger. Now, do they run alongside of it and then hop over, or do they just square off and run right at it and jump over it that way?
I've seen them do both. They're pretty amazing animals.
Oh, Roger that. I've never seen one cross the fence, you know. Of course, now when you hit one with an 18-wheeler, does it doesn't make much impact on you, does it?
Oh yeah, it'll tear the truck up. I hit one going to Memphis one night down just west of Nashville at Kingston Springs, and the doe, she came running across the interstate, and it was at an exit where it was lit up, and I saw her coming, and wasn't anything I could do. And she ran right into the side of my left steer tire, the steer tire on the driver's side, and it actually spun the steering wheel around a little bit. Of course, took her out and messed up the running boards and fender and all that kind of good stuff, but just one of those things. And I mean, they can tear the hood off, they can break the fenders. Of course, you know, these trucks, they're not hardly any of them metal anymore. They're mostly fiberglass, so it doesn't take a whole lot of impact to do a lot of damage.
Roger, Roger. So when you have 18-wheeler versus deer, is that you have to pull over and do an accident report?
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, we have to call safety. You don't per se have to call the highway patrol or anything like that, but definitely stop and go through our company procedures and take care of it that way. And usually they'll tell you just, you know, take some pictures of the vehicle, or when you get down to the next terminal you're going to, let them take pictures of it so that they have record of it. And you have to fill out a company accident report to send into safety and all that kind of stuff.
Roger, roger. So quite a bit of paperwork involved in that situation, huh?
Yes, sir. A lot of paperwork and everything we do, seems like. Sometimes it's duplicate and triplicate. Doesn't make a lot of sense on some of it, but I guess it makes sense to somebody.
Yeah, Roger, whoever thought about what all the paperwork you had to do, it makes sense to them, but they're probably about the only ones. Well, where do you think you are now?
I am, oh man, what's this little, I can't think of the name of this next exit I'm coming up on. I'm roughly 40 miles up into Indiana.
Roger, roger. So that should put you about 20 miles out of North Vernon, I guess, somewhere around there.
Yes, sir, I'm coming up on Uniontown.
Do you remember where we switched over last?
No, sir, I don't, to be honest with you. I don't remember where I switched over. I've got this one almost full scale again now.
Yeah, it's sounding great. Let's just stay on this one till we, we get picket fence heavy. Any other stations out there that wish to climb aboard, come on. This is KC9VKV in QSO with KF4GNV since Gallatin, Tennessee, through Gallatin, through Bonnieville, through E-Town, through the 146-850, and shortly coming up the North Vernon repeater all the way to Indianapolis. So it'll be a 305-mile QSO running about, we haven't really figured out what time is. So I'm doing the distance from the Gallatin repeater, although you were technically about 30 miles north of Gallatin, but you had a better copy going through the Gallatin, Tennessee repeater than the Bonnieville repeater.
Yes, sir, I was at basically the Tennessee-Kentucky state line on I-65 around Franklin, Kentucky when we started our QSO, so we've talked all the way across Kentucky, which is roughly 137 miles, and now I'm 40 some odd miles up into Indiana, so still have about 1 hour to go till I make my turnaround spot, and enjoying the mystery and the magic and the beauty of amateur radio. Right around in the dark. KF4GNV.
Roger, roger, and it's all being recorded and will be posted on YouTube and will be available through a call letter search on YouTube. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor call letter search on YouTube will take you to our QSO-VLOG. And I'm not exactly sure what this one will be, but it'll be long distance QSO, 305 miles or something like that. Unlike, there is one up there already with the Mount Mitchell 400 something mile, but this will be a running QSO on I-65. Maybe something about I-65 in the title.
Jim, I've never thought to look up QSOs like that on YouTube, so is that pretty common practice? A lot of people make recordings of that?
There are some, yeah, quite a few, but usually they're real noisy, particularly on HF. They've got their RF gain up all the way, and I mean, it's just kind of stuff, you know. Mine is more like telephone lines on HF. And on a VHF, when it gets noisy, I had the dBx noise reduction in when we were going through Bonnieville. The whole QSO I've had noise reduction on, so it should sound a whole lot better than what it actually did. You know, because what it does is take out all the hash between the words, and then it expands as the word comes along. How you doing out there?
Oh, I was just studying on getting over here in my lunch bucket, seeing what other goodness my lovely bride has packed away for me tonight. Oh man, I kind of nibbling along all night long as I go. She usually has some pretty good little snacks and stuff in there, and mostly healthy stuff for me to snack on to try to help out with my freight hauler's physique.
Roger that. I think it's maybe time now to switch over to North Vernon. That was a little noisy, and probably we were getting ready to get pretty noisy more. So I'll meet you over on North Vernon, Roger.
Roger, yeah, I believe this is about where we swapped the other night. I'm just south of Seymour, Indiana. I'll see you at North Vernon, KF4GNV.
KC9VKV, be QSY to 145, 250, no PL, North Vernon.
KF4GNV mobile.
Roger, Roger, KC9VKV. Give me just a little bit of audio. I gotta set my level again. This one's pretty low.
Roger, I just reached over and turned mine up a little bit myself. Keep making some noise here. We may stir up old Chris, I believe, was stationed in Nineveh the other night. Seemed like his name was Chris. What was it called? K9CBT, I think, wasn't it?
About the most I remember is Chris. That's about all I recall.
Oh, well, if that's not his name, we'll call him Chris anyway. It'd be kind of like one of the neighbors I used to have. I called him Bob for years, and I thought that's what his name was. And one day he was helping the neighbor on the other side of him do something out in the yard, and I walked over and talking with him. I said, "You got old Bob help you out?" And she said, "No, it's Larry." I said, "Oh, that's Bob. That's his name, isn't it?" And he looked up at me and he said, "No, my name's Larry." I said, "Well, man, I've been calling you Bob for years." He thought I'd been calling him Bud, like, "Hey, Bud, how's it going?" So after that, I just started calling him Larry Bob.
Roger that. Roger that. This is KC9VKV, and we're now on the North Vernon repeater at 145.250 with no PL. 145.250 with no PL. So how far do you think you are from North Vernon?
I think it was around the 60-something, so I'm at the 50, so 15, 20 miles, I guess.
Roger that. Roger that. It was sounding good, and you'll be driving into the repeater for the next 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Yes, sir. That'd be like this breakneck speed I'm running at 66 mile an hour. Just imagine the Doppler effect it's going to have.
Yeah, I'm sure Einstein's in there somewhere with his theory of relativity about time and space.
Yeah, we almost had one of those Einstein moments back there with that deer. Almost both occupied the same space at the same time. That wouldn't have been a good thing.
Roger, Roger. Now that would have messed up our QSO for sure.
It would have messed up the QSO and messed up my truck and definitely messed up that deer's day.
But that was just a possibility. Never came to pass. Might have been close, but no cigars, thank gosh.
Just the average night, average night on the road. You never know what you're going to come across, that's for sure.
Roger, Roger. Do you figure about another half hour? Just curious, Indianapolis from where you are?
It's going to be about 40, 45 minutes I should be to my destination.
Roger that. Roger that. It gets just a little noisy right there on the outskirts of Indy. Maybe 5 miles on the outskirts, I guess.
I didn't pay any attention to y'all's weather over the weekend. Did y'all get any more rain up here, or did you finally get a little reprieve? I'd say you must not have got much through here because these fields have looked like a lake for the last week or two every time I've come through at night, and it looks like most of the water is just back down to the ditches.
Roger. Not too much rain. Like I say, we had some. We were up in the Vernon and North Vernon areas yesterday, Sunday, and we ran into quite a bit of rain up there. but not too much down here, Roger.
Yeah, I tried to burn one of the brush piles out at the farm this weekend, and by the time I got the fire going, it come a little bit of shower and put my fire out. And I said, well, I'll just wait till another day. And after the shower passed, I had some bush hogging and stuff to do, so I started doing that, and then went back out there today and finished up my bush hogging.
Roger, Roger. Yeah, I did a little barbecuing there. Not really barbecuing, but you know, cooking out there on the flames. And I did have a little shower that tried to rain on my parade, but it was very short and light. So we just moved the grill up underneath the umbrella there, and just kept on, no problem.
Do you have any big plans for the holiday weekend coming up? Another cookout or something, or just going to take it easy and play it by ear?
Roger, a lot to be said for playing it by the ear. I mean, you know, you just don't get disappointed that way, and there's no sense to, you know, wind up that way. Just take it as it comes, and it's all, you know, so much easier that way than having all these great plans that can be modified by Mother Nature weather-wise and all that stuff.
I try not to set schedules and stuff for me when I'm not working. Have a general idea of what I'd like to get done, and if I get it done, that's good. If I don't, that's all right too. But I figure I'm on a schedule 5 nights a week, and the nights I'm off, I don't really like to have a set schedule.
Roger, Roger. That's the way I am too, man. You know, the wife, she likes to, you know, go for trips in the car. You know, she's the designated driver. You know, so whatever she's ready to do, I'm ready to ride along. I can do my part.
I hear you. We did some running around, running a bunch of errands and stuff Saturday, stuff we needed to do, and in and out quite a bit. But my wife asked me if I wanted her to drive. I said, sure. Well, first I told her no, then I went and got the passenger seat, and she said, I didn't think you wanted me to drive. I said, yeah, I don't, but I'll let you anyway. So I sat back and got chauffeured around all day. That was a nice treat.
Roger, Roger. Well, that's you know, that's the lap of luxury there, to have a chauffeur and not have to worry about the driving, man. I do not like to drive. My car, I don't drive that much on a daily basis, so I put a little trickle charger on the battery, you know, a little 0.75 amp trickle charger, and it's amazing, man. When I do go somewhere, I start that engine, man, that engine starts twice as fast as, you know, without the trickle charger.
Yeah, I used to ride a motorcycle a bunch, about 15,000 to 20,000 miles a year on top of what I already did for work, but I don't know. Seems like the older I get my 3,000 miles in a week at work, and about the only driving I really care to do is from the house out to the farm and monkey around out there and try to get some stuff done. I'm not all that into doing a bunch of running or trips or anything anymore like I used to. I used to really enjoy getting out and roaming around, but now I just enjoy going out to our little piece of heaven and trying to get it whooped into shape like we want it.
Roger, Roger. Now that extra driving that you were doing, that was for pleasure?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I used to ride a motorcycle all the time, and well, actually, I rode back and forth to work on it. But there were a lot of days I'd go ride a couple hundred miles before I went to work, or after I got off work, or whatever, and then ride big miles on the weekend, or whenever I was off. I rode around a bunch of different states. Used to do quite a bit of photography and stuff of the places I rode to, and enjoyed all that. But that's a thing of the past. I guess I gave that up. Wow, it's probably been 4 or 5 years ago now since I sold my bike.
Roger, Roger. What kind of bike was it?
The last few I had were all Harleys. I've had a couple of 3 Hondas in the past, but the last several I had were all Harleys, and enjoyed them tremendously. Getting out riding around, getting them all set up to where you're comfortable on it, and able to do the big miles like I used to do. So, seen a lot of pretty sights and been to a lot of cool places.
Roger. Now, is a Gold Wing, that's a Harley, right?
No, sir, that's a Honda. That's like the top of the line touring Honda is the Gold Wing.
Roger. Shows you what I know about bikes. Hey, the only ones I know is the ones I pedal.
Yeah, the Gold Wing's a fine machine as well. Those are nice and built for riding high miles on those as well.
Roger, Roger. Yeah, but they're big and heavy, and I guess if you ever get one down, it's real hard to get it up.
Well, there's a little trick to it. There's a way to do it. If you drop your bike, that you kind of back up to it and use the strength of your legs to pick it up instead of trying to pick it up by bending over or whatever. But there's a little trick you can do that you just kind of lean back into it and push backwards, and it'll ease right on up.
Roger, I'll have to remember that. I don't think I'll be riding a bike, except my bike, but that's an interesting way to ride one if you happen to lay one down.
Well, I've made it up here around Columbus. Moving right along tonight, man. This trip's flown by. Tell you what, this repeater hopping and carrying on this long QSO like this for a few hours really helps pass the time away. Helps keep you alert.
Roger, Roger. Well, I'm still sipping on my coffee, but I don't know. It's it's a labor of love.
I'm looking forward to pouring that nice, piping hot, fresh cup of coffee when I get ready to head back south here in a little while. KF4GNV.
KC9VKV. How long does it take you to unload?
Well, I don't actually unload. I drop these two trailers and usually pick up two more trailers to take back that are already loaded. But sometimes I have to wait on them to get one finished out or whatnot. Sometimes you walk in there and as soon as you sign in, they're ready for you to sign back out. And I have sat up there for a couple hours or more, you know, waiting on something. Or sometimes when you do your pre-trip, you find flat tires or mechanical issues or electrical issues or something. You have to go to the shop and get them fixed. So you just really never know what you're going to wind up with.
Roger, Roger. So you said trailers. Are you running bifurcated trailers?
Yeah, I have two 28-foot trailers behind me. Set of pups or doubles or some people call them joints or a lot of different names.
Roger, Roger. You notice much difference between two bifurcated trailers or just one long one?
Well, yes and no. I mean, with the two, you can't really back them very far because they'll hinge on you. So if you get in somewhere, pull off somewhere, you want to always make sure you can pull all the way through. The two are easier as far as taking corners, just because of where it articulates in the middle. But now, like the one long trailer, you actually have better fuel mileage on those because there's less wind resistance on them. I always joke with them that when they give me a long trailer, it makes me nervous because it doesn't start out bending in the middle. They always look at me kind of funny and say, it better not be bending in the middle when you get to where you're going either.
KC9VKV. What kind of mileage do you get out of those? And is there a difference in mileage? You said there is a difference in mileage between the bifurcated and the single?
Yes, sir, especially because of the wind resistance, where you have the gaps in between the trailers and then the gap between the back of the cab and the lead trailers a little bit further usually on the pups than it is on the single van. But I just looked over on my computer. It's showing averaging 7.3 miles a gallon tonight, so it's doing pretty good, which I'm fairly light. So it's doing pretty good tonight. But on average, I'll burn 85 gallons of fuel if I'm not loaded heavy. If I'm loaded heavy and pulling pups, then I'll usually burn around 92 to 95 gallons of fuel. And if I pull a van, I'll usually only burn around 77 or 78 gallons of fuel. So it's a little bit of a fuel difference on pulling the single versus pulling the double.
Roger, and that consumption is for both ways or just one?
It's for a round trip for 600 miles or so.
Roger, and you've got tanks that you can go both ways without having to stop for fuel?
That is correct. Yeah, this particular truck just has one large tank on it. But yeah, I can make the round trip on one tank of fuel.
Roger, Roger. That's good, man. You don't have to to pull off somewhere and do that, right, and waste time. Yeah,
I generally fuel my truck up when I get done in the mornings, and you know, if a city driver uses it, they generally fuel it back up and leave it parked full. That's kind of what we try to do, leave them parked full of fuel. That way you can start your day without having to do that. Or at least how I work it. Some drivers prefer to fuel every day when they start instead of fueling when they get done. But I just find I like it better to be full when I get there, and I'll fuel it when I'm done, and I know I'm good to go when I start out.
Roger, Roger. I've got a brother-in-law that does 18-wheel, and he does New Jersey mostly, some Florida, but mainly New Jersey. And he a lot of times will pull out the night before and just be on the other side of Louisville, so he can just take off, you know, early in the morning without having to, you know, go through a bunch of rigmarole.
Yeah, if you can kind of plan ahead a little bit and have the time to where you can work it to take your breaks or whatever, especially if you're doing a long haul like that, to miss the major rush hours in the major cities, and actually save yourself a lot of time. I know when I ran over the road on aluminum, I would do that. If I looked like I was going to hit somewhere around rush hour, I might stop and take me a little nap for an hour or two or something, and get up and go and give the traffic time to die down, and that way I wouldn't be as tired and as frustrated and whatnot, and really you're not losing that much time, if any time, depending on the traffic.
Roger, yeah, he's got all the amenities of home there. He's got a microwave and DVD player, VHS player. He's got everything there, Roger.
Oh, he's set up to stay gone then, isn't he?
Oh yeah, yeah. He brings his his own food there, and pretty much cooks quite a bit. He does eat out some, but he tries to cook his own stuff and eat reasonable, Roger.
You can certainly save a lot of money doing that, and usually eat better as well. I know here a few years ago I had to go on the extra board for a little while. I had a run got canceled, and at the time we didn't have a bump in place, so I went to the extra board, and I'd leave on Sunday and get back on Friday. And I had a little cooler that I'd strap down on the passenger seat over there, and it would plug into the cigarette lighter. And I'd cook up a lot of food and put it in storage containers and buy sandwich meats and milk and water and all kinds of different stuff, and just pack that cooler full every Sunday before I'd leave out, and eat out of that all week long. And some weeks I wouldn't even spend $5 all week long on other stuff, and I'd carry little soups with me that you get these microwavable ready containers that are, the soups in and stuff like that, or all kinds of different things you could do. And I'd hard boil a lot of eggs, maybe bring a dozen hard-boiled eggs with me, or half a dozen or something like that. And that way it's something easy and quick to grab and eat, and all kinds of different things you can do. And like I said, it saves you a tremendous amount of money, that's for sure.
Roger, yeah. It's like when you eat out, man, you're at the mercy of the cooks, and sometimes you, when you take a look at some of the folks that are serving you, are are the cooks. Man, I've gotten nervous a couple of times and walked out because life's too short to wind up getting poisoned or something worse than that.
Well, all the years being on the road that I have, I tell you what, I've eaten in some places that I wish I hadn't of, and definitely won't go back again. You see all kinds and all sorts of stuff out here on the road, but there used to be a lot of the little mom and pop truck stops that had great little sit down restaurants in them, but those are pretty much gone to the wayside anymore. Everything is a fuel stop is maybe has a little fast food joint in it, or they'll have like a Subway or a McDonald's or a Wendy's or something like that. But pretty much the days of the mom and pop truck stops with the good restaurants are no more.
Roger. Well, that's the same way with eating joints. Atmosphere is long since gone, man. It's pretty much functionality now. You come in and sit down, and it's usually wood seats. Oh boy, that raises heck sometimes, and just no class, just slam bam, thank you ma'am, kind of eating, Roger.
That's it. Sling you in, sling you out, and go on. I tell you, my wife's an excellent cook. She's, in fact, she made us some barbecue chicken in the crock pot over the weekend, and been eating on that here the last couple of days. Still have a little bit more left. At least I hope there's some more left. Her and my mother may have eaten it all up by the time I get back, but I doubt it. I thoroughly enjoyed that. She took and shredded up some chicken breast and put a little Italian dressing in with it, and a little Worcestershire sauce and the barbecue sauce, and cooked it in the crock pot. Cooked it slow and all night long Saturday night. And I woke up Sunday and you could smell that in the house, man. You talk about starving you to death just smelling it.
Oh, Roger. Well, I think Sam's has got a real good deal on their chickens. I think they're $4.95 or $5.95. I forget. Maybe $4.95. These are big chickens too. We usually get a couple a week at least, maybe 4. They're really, really good.
K9. That's for sure. She made I don't know what she called it. She had a name for it, but it's some kind of a layer or something or other. Kind of a Mexican dish, I guess, but I think she called it maybe an enchilada stack or something like that. Man, that stuff was powerful good as well. But, like I said, pretty much everything she makes is good to eat. Of course, you can take one look at me and realize that for sure.
Roger. I think we may have another station in there. Other station, go ahead.
This is K9CVT. Called your call sign there. KC9 Victor Kilowatt Whiskey. And I forgot the other fella. Truck driver I talked to last week. And just want to let you folks know that I'm listening.
Well, Roger, okay, my call is, you were close, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, KC9VKV, Roger.
Oh, I apologize for that. I say again, Kilo Charlie 9er
That's a Roger. Jim, Juliet India Mike, and the other guy is Ron, KF4GNV. And we've been in QSO since Gallatin, Tennessee. This is a 300 plus mile QSO up I-65.
Yeah, you guys did that last week, and now we got that suffix that was Kilo Foxtrot 4, Golf November Victor. Yes, I remember the name, Ron. You guys go ahead. I'm messing with something else here. We got to put the trash out in the corner, but I just want to let you guys know I'm playing voyeur out here.
Roger, Roger. Well, don't be a stranger, man. Jump in any time. Glad to have you aboard. Like I say, we have been yapping here more than the law allows, burning up the highway there, down or up I-65. So we're getting towards Indianapolis, which is where Ron's hoping to be.
Oh, sorry, doubled with you, Jim, on part of that. But yeah, I was just saying hi to Chris. At least we hope that's your name. We decided that's what we both thought your name was, so we were going to call you Chris, whether that was right or not.
That's okay. You can call me anything you want, even if it's something derogatory. I don't care. I answer to it. K9CVT.
Chris, give me that call phonetically.
Yep, my call sign is Kilo Niner Charlie Bravo Tango K9CVT. K9 Cognitive Behavior Therapy. I don't know. That's the best I can come up with so far. That's my initial.
Roger. Well, it's close enough, man. That'll keep your call sign on somebody's mind for sure.
Yeah, maybe in the wrong way. Maybe in the right way. I don't know.
Well, good to hear you in there. And like I say, don't be a stranger. Just jump in anytime you feel like you've got something to put in there.
Okay, well, I might talk a little bit here, but like I said, I got to get that trash out to the curb before I forget it and end up with a giant pile of trash bags in my yard.
Well, hopefully you don't have raccoons. I just had a raccoon problem down here, and we got a cage, and we sent to another park about 20 miles away 7 raccoons over a couple of weeks.
Oh, well, now that you mention it, I don't need to crowd Ron out here because he's got a job to do and stay awake. But, yes, last week talking to Ron, I did see on my video cameras that the raccoon, we don't have many raccoons. It's kind of a subdivision. We're scared of the dogs, but a raccoon was definitely the one getting into my trash bags outside. I saw on the camera right there when I was talking to Ron.
Oh, they'll do it. They're just unbelievably smart. Just unbelievably smart. And when we would, we also run video on the cage that we were catching them in, and we have an hour called Raccoons They Win, and we have another hour of raccoons, we win. So they beat me out of about 4 chicken dinners before I got my stuff together and started coming around. It was 4-0 at one point, and then it became 4-7.
There's definitely some smart creatures, man. Them fuckers can figure out a lot of stuff, and they come by the name of Bandit Honest, don't they? KF4GNV.
KC9VKV. And Chris, where did you say you were? I think he's getting the garbage out.
Yeah, you might be out there wrestling one of them coons there, trying to get him out of the garbage.
I tell you, I never have seen anything like it. It's amazing. You know, I've got a city garbage can, you know, one of those big jobbers. They can I don't know how they do it, but they can get inside, eat the whatever in there, you know, the food scraps, and get out. And I can have a bungee cord on the top of the lid, and they can still function with that bungee cord on there. Chris, did you get that garbage out?
I didn't have to. I about fell down shock. One of my 3 teenage kids, age 15, 16, and 18, actually took the trash to the curb, I think.
Oh, I think they want something. I think I can tell that they're setting you up because they're needing something.
That's the way it usually works.
So, Ron, what's your location now, sir?
I'm about 10 miles out, so just about 5 miles south of Whiteland.
Roger, Roger. Well, you appear to be still solid into the repeater, so maybe we'll get you right up there to the to the doors of where you're going. Roger, Roger.
Yeah, sounds like I might make it tonight all the way up there. Conditions are favorable.
K9 CPD, well, they're not favorable on HF right now. That's part of the reason I'm talking to you.
Now, you should be able to bang on out there on 80 meters.
Not if you're doing digital.
Well, nobody said you were going to bang on out in digital. Now, how do you do that? Are you on 80 meters, or what frequency are you on?
Well, I can run any of them on JT65, JT9, or TSK. You know, I'm new. And the HF voice, I've done a little of that, but it's kind of intimidating at times. All the big
all the big stations. Is that what you said?
Right, on phone, you know, get out there, a little 100-watt guy, just learning, and I'm kind of like the guy with the handy talkie on the local repeater. So I'm working on some stuff in my station. I messed with digital late tonight. It's kind of neat. I like computers, so it's kind of neat, but, you know, it's not as good as what we're doing right now. You know,
I'm working on my last sip of coffee, and I hope I make it here. This the last 10 miles, man. That's something else.
well, if we drop off, I'll pick up Ron up there in Greenwood. I can hit that repeater, and he's probably got it in his memory from last week, and I'll take him on down past the BO on the way back down.
Roger, Roger. But the problem is I've got the recorder. I've got the last 3 hours, the last 300 miles on video.
Oh, really? Tell me about that.
Right. I'll be posting it tomorrow, the next day, on YouTube. You can do a call letter search on YouTube. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Call letter search on YouTube. That'll take you to 50 QSO-VLOGs. And this will be right there. Roger, Roger. I'm not sure what we're going to call it. Something about I-65, and will be in the title.
Oh, so cool. Yeah, it's really good. I've been messing with the local website, and I got runs that isn't so cool on these kind of operator level YouTube videos, but I am. But is Ron still out there? K9CBD.
Yes, sir. I'm still trucking right along.
Yeah, we've got this QSO starting from Gallatin, Tennessee. So we started on the far side of Kentucky, went all the way across Kentucky, from Indiana to Kentucky to start the QSO, and then worked ourselves right across Kentucky, right on into Indianapolis, to Indiana, up to Indianapolis.
Been transmitting in 3 states over 300 miles, haven't we?
That's a Roger there. I'm surprised my my video capability is not shut down.
Well, it's pretty cool there, Jim. Yeah, you've got a real nation there, unlike me, who has got just strung all over the basement wires here and there.
Roger, have you managed to go to YouTube and check it out?
Yeah, that's where my observation came from.
Roger. Well, that's only the part you can see. The other part is the same as yours.
What you trying to say, Jim, is you get it all fancied up, gussied up for the video part, but the rest of it looks like everybody else's ham shack.
Absolutely. Dedicated debris. I mean, you gotta have a place to put something after projects. And I get involved in so many projects that I do have a debris area that's just nothing but the tail end of 1,000 projects.
Well, Jim, that's why I've been so interested in ham radio, because I found other people like me who are always fiddling with stuff and moving on to this fiddler's project, back to that fiddler's project, and before they just thought I was nuts.
Well, you know, you have to sidestep the term hoarder. You really have to do that because, I mean, you never can tell when you're going to need this one item that you're getting ready to throw away. So I don't ever throw anything away. I've invested heavily in garbage cans. You know, garbage cans are amazing. You can put 70 pounds of stuff in a garbage can, put it outside, and it will withstand the worst rain and not leak.
Hoarders have dead cats between newspapers. This is the rationalization of all hoarders, but my stuff's semi-organized and is actually worth something, or so I think.
My problem is that I have no organization. The garbage cans are only by time. That's the only reference to what might possibly be in it is when did it get packed and what was I doing at the time. But I have managed to find quite a few items that I need for other projects. So I validate myself by you know, having had actually the you know, the need to find stuff in those garbage cans.
All right, Ron. Hoarder confession time. Are you a hoarder?
No, but my wife thinks she's married to one.
Yeah, we'll join the club. So, Ron, as we come down to the end of this thing, what was it my time when we first made contact on Gallatin, Tennessee?
Well, actually, we first made contact on Bonneville and then went back to Gallatin because I was so far down south. But it was roughly 7:30 p.m. your time when we first made contact. And I am probably about 2 miles out. Every time now, that's from 11:30, and that's how long we've been in QSO. Basically, 3 days.
Roger, give me you're dropping pretty bad. Give me the time, my time when we started.
23:30, 11:30 Eastern time.
23:30. Is that a Roger?
Roger.
Which would be 11:30, right?
QSL.
I can still think. Oh, amazing. Okay, I've made note of that, 11:30, and it is now 15 past 3. And now you're almost ready to pull in?
I am looking at the terminal as we speak, so I'll say 7-3 and appreciate all the company, and Chris, I'll you up on Greenwood repeater here in a little bit. Ride along with me, Jim, and so look for you maybe tomorrow night. 7-3 KF4GNV.
Roger, Roger, Ron. 3 is my pleasure, and we'll get this posted on YouTube either tomorrow or the next day, depending on if I live. Catch you later. 3's, have a good night, Ron and Chris. 3's to you, and we'll catch you later. It's KC9VKV. Be clear.